Beloved, the time is drawing near, and it seemed to come at us Christmas this year like a rushing train, at least for me. I finally went out this past Friday to get a Christmas tree, and the lot was almost empty. And but it's coming. Like when a baby comes, it doesn't matter if we're ready or not, that baby's coming on its birthday. A few quotes to get us ready for Christmas from the French theologian Rene Voillaume. He said, Jesus was born on a journey and in the midst of a great number of unknown people, so he really belongs to everyone. Langston Hughes wrote a poem about Christmas. We have no room, the innkeeper called, so the glory fell where the cows were stalled. How can it be such a light shines here, in this humble stable once cold and drear? Oh, the child has come to bring good cheer on a Christmas night. And Martin Luther wondered at the earthiness of the incarnation of Jesus. Ah, Lord, who madest all from clay, how couldst thou be so small and poor, to lie there in dusty straw, where ox and ass feed every day? Nativity scenes are all around us, and this year in our academy, we built the scene week by week in our worship. You might have noticed it at the altar on Sundays. The first week we had the stable, and the children brought in the straw. The next week we brought in the animals. The next week, last week, we brought in the people, some of the people, mom and dad, and the shepherds. Now, on Christmas Eve, the children, which we will tape our Wednesday liturgy this coming Wednesday as our Christmas Eve service, the children will bring in the baby. Christ will be born. We lit the first candle with the straw, the second candle with the animals, the third candle with the people, and the fourth candle will be lit, and the Christ candle, for Christ is born. Pictures of stars, the Holy Family, the critters, the angels, and humans adorn our homes, our Christmas cards, some public squares, church lawns. In my home congregation, we would have a living nativity. I think I've told you this before, with real with real donkeys and sheep and characters from central casting. I learned that sheep don't smell so good. You need eau de cologne after standing next to one too long. It was a rite of passage to be included in the living nativity. When I was finally of age, they made me an angel. It was humiliating. I dearly wanted one of the macho bathrobe parts, but to this day, I remember being included in the nativity scene. It's about life and God entering creation, and creation entering God through this baby. It's a story to explain the world. Maybe the wisest Christmas picture of the nativity scene I've ever seen was shared by a young artist about 3 years old on a Christmas card she made for me and proudly gave to me. I talked about it in last year's Christmas sermon. There were awkward stick figures, and with a little imagination, you could tell and identify the figures in the nativity scene with one exception. There were little dark dots all over the card. What are these? I asked, pointing at them around what I suppose was the manger. That's animal poop, she said. That little girl is a theologian of the incarnation. She saw beyond the halos and blissful faces and sweet sentiment to the stark reality of the scene. This is a real birth here, with blood and pain and screaming. Real parents worried sick in their temporary shelter from the streets. Real animals chewing cuds and making animal noises and leaving droppings of poop on the straw-strewn floor. These were real shepherds who heard angelic voices amid the stink of real sheep. Look again at the pieces of the nativity scene. Animals. Here we see God, the Creator, reconciling the cosmos. God is in creation, all of it. Stable and manger. It was their first home. God is in our homes. God is in shelter for the homeless, and the series of tents set up that you can see wind blown by Lawrence Avenue along Lakeshore Drive. Jesus sat at something like a kitchen table as he grew up. His presence, Emmanuel, makes each kitchen table, each home, an altar. Angels. Unlike me, angels represent praise of God. Good news is announced. Messengers go forth from the nativity scene, maybe a lot like you and me. We really are angels, and the church is an angel in the world. We have good news and abundant praise. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds. Emmanuel is for Monday. In the midst of our work and the routines of our lives, the reign of God is breaking out. Wise men. This baby, this visitation of God in human form, comes to a world full of seekers. More than ever, our world needs a story, and people are seeking a story that explains their lives and encompasses their deepest longing. To the seeker comes Emmanuel, God with us. That story also unlocks our giftedness. We bear gifts in the world when we have bent the knee at the right place, as with gladness men of old. Mary and Joseph, Holy Family, God's family, your family, our family of St. Luke, connected to all God's children in God's new creation. When you see a nativity scene, see it with new eyes. Put yourself in the scene. In the scene, we see what the poet T.S. Eliot calls the incarnation of God, the still turning point in human history, the intersection of time and timelessness. Fellow angels, Merry Christmas.